What really lies behind the coincidences that feel so striking in our lives? Is it just chance playing with us, or could there be a deeper connection between events and our psyche? Carl Jung believed these occurrences were not mere accidents, but manifestations of a principle he called synchronicity. Jung described synchronicity as the meaningful coincidence of two or more events where there is something more than simple chance. In other words, events that, at first glance, have no direct causal relationship but align in such a symbolic and impactful way that they defy purely rational explanations. Imagine dreaming of a rare animal and on the same day unexpectedly encountering its image in a symbolic and powerful context that resonates with your emotional state. For Jung, this wasn't coincidence, but a manifestation of the collective unconscious. The concept of the collective unconscious is key to understanding synchronicity. Jung proposed that we all share a common reservoir of symbols, archetypes, and psychic patterns inherited throughout human history. When a synchronistic experience occurs, it can be seen as a reflection of this unconscious manifesting in external reality, creating a bridge between the inner and outer worlds. Synchronicity is deeply tied to the idea of meaning, something traditional science often overlooks. While causality deals with mechanical, linear cause and effect relationships, synchronicity explores the subjective meaning behind events. It's as if the universe responds to an internal need for meaning, echoing a psychic state through the external world. This phenomenon can appear in subtle or intense ways. A classic example from Jung involves a skeptical, highly rational patient who was stuck in her therapeutic progress. During a session, she described a dream in which she received a golden scarab, a symbol of rebirth in Egyptian mythology. At that very moment, a real golden scarab, a rare insect in that region, tapped on the window. This impactful event shattered her rational defenses, allowing a significant breakthrough in therapy. This example shows how synchronicity can be transformative. It challenges rigid logical thinking and opens us to a more symbolic, intuitive understanding of reality. But how can we distinguish true synchronicity from mere coincidence? The key element is personal meaning. For Jung, synchronicity carries emotional and symbolic significance that deeply resonates with an individual's psychic state. It often occurs during times of transition, crisis, or spiritual awakening, when the conscious mind is more receptive to the unconscious and the mysterious. Philosophers and mystics from various traditions have also explored this connection between mind and reality. Plato's Anima Mundi, or world soul, and Taoist principles suggest that the universe is permeated by a hidden order where everything is interconnected symbolically and energetically. Synchronicity, then, can be seen as a fleeting glimpse of this invisible order. However, we live in an age dominated by Cartesian thinking, where everything must be measurable and explainable in rational terms. This reductionist mindset often dismisses synchronistic experiences as mere illusions or accidental patterns created by the mind. Yet Jung would argue that by ignoring symbolism and meaning, we lose a vital dimension of human experience, the connection to mystery and the unseen. True wisdom, perhaps, lies in embracing this uncertainty and acknowledging that not everything can be explained by pure reason. Synchronicity invites us to pay attention to life's symbolic flow, to observe the subtle patterns that emerge, and to reflect on what they might be revealing about our inner journey. But how can we begin to notice and interpret these synchronicities in our daily lives? Perceiving and interpreting synchronicities in our lives requires an expanded state of awareness, an openness to mystery and the symbolic language of the unconscious. Jung suggested that these events become more visible during moments of psychological transformation when we are in tune with our individuation process, the integration of all aspects of the self, including the shadow and deeper archetypes. The first step to recognizing synchronicities is developing a sensitivity to symbolism. This means paying attention not just to objective facts, but also to what they represent subjectively. For example, repeatedly encountering images or references to butterflies during a phase of self-discovery could symbolize an inner transformation. The practice of mindfulness can also heighten this perception. Being present in the moment helps us notice subtle connections between our internal experiences and external events. It's as if life begins to speak to us in a symbolic language that goes beyond words. Another crucial aspect is intuition. Jung described intuition as an essential psychic function, capable of perceiving hidden patterns and meanings. When we listen to our intuitions, those gut feelings or seemingly irrational insights, we are often led to recognize significant synchronicities. They can manifest as sudden realizations or feelings of déjà vu, when reality seems to echo something already felt internally. But can synchronicity have deeper implications for our self-discovery journey? Jung believed so. He saw these experiences as invitations for a deeper connection with the self, the most authentic and unified core of the psyche. When synchronicity occurs, it can signal alignment with our inner truth or reveal unconscious issues that need integration. For instance, imagine someone repeatedly encountering symbols of closure: closing doors, books about life cycles ending, conversations with people discussing new beginnings. These patterns might reflect an internal need to bring closure to something, even if they aren't consciously aware of it yet. In this case, synchronicity acts as a mirror of the psyche's state. Jung also explored the idea that synchronicity could be a form of communication between the ego and the self, a subtle dialogue where the unconscious attempts to guide the conscious mind toward wholeness. It's as if the universe conspires to show us we're on a path of growth, or, in some cases, to signal the need for change. This raises an even deeper philosophical question. Are we truly separate from the world around us, or are we part of a larger interconnected whole? Synchronicity suggests the latter. It challenges the mechanistic view of reality and echoes ancient concepts of interconnectedness, such as the principle of unity in Hermeticism and Eastern philosophy, where everything in the cosmos is intrinsically linked. Interestingly, modern quantum physics also touches on this idea. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where particles remain connected across vast distances, seems to mirror the principle that separation may be an illusion. While science continues to explore these ideas more theoretically, synchronicity offers a subjective experience of this same interconnectedness. However, interpreting synchronicities wisely requires discernment. Not every unusual event carries profound meaning. The risk lies in projecting excessive significance onto random coincidences, falling into a form of magical thinking disconnected from reality. Jung warned that true synchronicity is marked by emotional impact and personal meaning, not just arbitrary patterns. So how can we balance symbolic perception with rationality? The balance between symbolic perception and rationality requires an integrated psychic stance where analytical thinking and intuition coexist harmoniously. Carl Jung believed true wisdom arises from the integration of opposites: logic and symbolism, the conscious and the unconscious, the tangible and the mysterious. Synchronicity should not be used as a justification for unfounded beliefs or magical interpretations of reality, but as a tool to expand perception and self-awareness. It's not about predicting the future or controlling reality, but revealing meaningful connections that can offer profound psychological insight. To recognize and interpret synchronicity with balance, it's essential to adopt a contemplative mindset, asking yourself sincere questions when faced with a seemingly significant event. What emotions does this evoke in me? Is there a recurring pattern in my life? What aspect of my psychic state might this reflect? This reflective approach encourages honest self-inquiry and prevents the tendency to project meaning onto random coincidences. Jung emphasized that genuine synchronicity carries emotional and symbolic weight, deeply resonating with the individual's internal state, acting as a mirror of the psyche in transformation. This concept is closely tied to the process of individuation, a core principle of analytical psychology. Individuation is the path through which a person integrates the conscious and unconscious aspects of their personality, seeking psychic wholeness. During this process, synchronicity can serve as symbolic communication between the ego and the self, highlighting important themes that need to be acknowledged or integrated. When someone experiences moments of profound emotional transition, such as the end of a relationship, an existential crisis, or the start of a new life chapter, synchronistic events often emerge as signs that an internal reorganization of the psyche is underway. These symbolic phenomena can be understood as expressions of the collective unconscious, the deepest layer of the human psyche where universal archetypes and symbols reside. When external events seem to powerfully reflect inner struggles, it is as if reality itself echoes these archetypal dynamics. For example, someone struggling to express their authenticity might repeatedly encounter symbols of truth, books, inspirational quotes, or even casual conversations emphasizing honesty. These patterns don't arise by chance, but as symbolic manifestations of emerging psychic content seeking conscious expression. Interestingly, this idea isn't exclusive to Jungian thought. Ancient spiritual traditions have long explored the concept of a hidden, interconnected order within reality. In Taoism, the principle of wu-wei describes a state of effortless flow where the individual aligns with the natural rhythms of life, acting in harmony with the cosmos. Similarly, Plato's concept of anima mundi suggests that the world possesses a collective soul, where all parts are connected in a meaningful whole. Synchronicity, then, can be seen as a modern expression of this ancient perception of interconnectedness. Even contemporary quantum physics, albeit more speculatively, touches on concepts that echo synchronicity. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where particles remain connected across vast distances, suggests that separation between elements of reality might be an illusion. While the scientific and Jungian fields operate in different domains, both seem to point toward the possibility of a reality where connections transcend linear causality. However, recognizing symbolic connections doesn't mean abandoning reason or embracing unchecked magical thinking. Synchronicity should not be seen as a tool for controlling or deciphering the future, but as an opening to the mystery of the psyche and the cosmos. It invites us to view reality more expansively, considering not just linear causality, but also subjective meaning and symbolic resonances that emerge during pivotal life moments. Jung reminds us that what we do not make conscious will appear in our lives as fate, and synchronicity can be a subtle way for the unconscious to express itself, seeking to integrate repressed or ignored psychic contents. By embracing this perspective, we allow mystery and symbolism to enrich our life experiences without abandoning critical discernment. The true depth of synchronicity lies in its ability to remind us that reality is far more complex and interconnected than pure rational thought can grasp. It invites us to reflect not only on the events themselves, but on what they might be revealing about our inner journey and the process of self-discovery. Understanding synchronicity invites us to reflect on an essential aspect of the human experience: the desire for meaning. We live in a fragmented world where reason and logic often dominate how we perceive reality. Yet, when synchronistic events occur, they remind us of a deeper dimension of experience, a symbolic language that seems to connect us with something greater than ourselves. This search for meaning lies at the heart of Jung's concept of individuation. He believed that human beings seek not just security or pleasure, but a profound sense of existential purpose. Synchronicities, then, can act as signs along this path, urging us to question rigid beliefs, explore the unconscious, and integrate neglected aspects of our psyche. They often arise during crises or life transitions, when old identities begin to dissolve and a new self starts to emerge. In this sense, the phenomenon can be seen as an external reflection of an internal process of psychic transformation. For many, such experiences evoke a sense of spiritual connection. They seem to dissolve the illusion of separateness, revealing an invisible web that unites all things. This feeling resonates with ancient mystical and philosophical traditions, from the alchemical idea of unus mundus, a unified reality where matter and spirit converge, to the Hindu concept of Brahman, the universal consciousness underlying all manifestations of reality. Synchronicity, in this context, becomes a liminal experience where the boundary between self and cosmos momentarily fades. However, Jung did not promote a naive or mystical interpretation of synchronicity. He acknowledged the risk of distortions and projections. True symbolic perception requires discernment and psychic maturity. Not every extraordinary event holds profound meaning, and overprojecting symbolism onto random patterns can lead to magical thinking or paranoia. The defining factor is the emotional and symbolic weight of the event. Genuine synchronicity carries a deep psychological impact, a sense of resonance with one's inner state. Interestingly, while synchronicity seems subjective and difficult to measure, it echoes concepts explored in modern fields of consciousness and reality studies. Transpersonal psychology, for example, examines how expanded states of awareness can generate perceptions of interconnectedness and meaning. Meanwhile, fields like neuroscience have begun investigating how the brain detects patterns and assigns meaning even in ambiguous contexts. Therefore, synchronicity is not merely a psychological or spiritual phenomenon. It points to an expanded way of perceiving reality, where meaning is found not just in facts, but in the subtle connections between the inner and outer worlds. Jung invites us to see these coincidences not as illusions or flaws of reason, but as windows into a deeper understanding of both ourselves and existence itself. After all, when we pay attention to the symbols that emerge in everyday life, we are, in truth, answering a call toward a more conscious, integrated life connected to the mystery of psychic wholeness. Perhaps the real secret behind those coincidences we can't ignore lies in the courage to listen to what they are trying to reveal, not as ready-made answers or supernatural messages, but as invitations to dive deeper into our self-discovery and transformation journey. If you enjoyed this content and want to keep exploring profound topics about the mind, self-awareness, and the mysteries of the unconscious, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring more reflections like this your way. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever experienced a powerful synchronicity? We'd love to hear your stories and insights.